Hello everyone and welcome back to A Bit Tactical, where today I'm going over a kill team battle report with the Blooded versus the Aquilons. As you can see here, the map is custom. It's a derailed train going into a tunnel. The Blooded are ambushing the Tempestus Aquilons. That's how I figured we should do it. But one thing to note about this custom map is that we are not going to be using Vantage rules. If you are on Vantage, you still get the light cover. However, because until we get more comfortable creating more balanced maps, or simply when we don't care, I think Vantage is just too powerful, especially with some teams like the Aquilons, who are a little bit too powerful when it comes to Vantage and just being able to get on it automatically. So for those purposes, we won't. If we play in the future with a official map like Vocus or other maps with Vantage, of course, we're still going to be using Vantage rules. But for now, for this map specifically, we're not going to be using those. The Blooded are going to come in with the Chieftain. It's going to have the last pistol with the power weapon, the Grenadier, the Butcher, the Commsman, the Corpseman, the Flenser, Sharpshooter, Trench Sweeper, Plasma, Melta, Ogren, and Enforcer. For his equipment, he's going to bring Sinister Trophies and Symbols of Worship, as well as 2 crack grenades and 2 light barricades. The Aquilons are going to come into the battle with the Tempestus with a Relic bolt pistol and a chainsword, the Precursor, the Gunfighter, the Grenadier, the Marksman, the Melta-Gunner, the Servo Sentry, controversially, instead of the Plasma, and 3 Troopers. I'm also going to be bringing the Combat Stims, the Drop Augury, the Remote Overseer, 2 times Light Barricades, and the Portable Barricade, which I'm sure is going to get a lot of use this game. For Tac Ops, the Blizzard are going to be using Champion, and the Tempestus Aquilons are going to be using Planned Beacons. At the end of the video, I will be talking about the Aquilons and the guide I'm going to go with them and what I learned from this battle. But without further ado, let's get right into the battle report. So we roll for initiative, and he wins it, he takes it, and we go straight to the deployment phase. Now, the funny thing is that the first time I said I set up everybody up top, right, and I showed who I set up, and then I had him just deploy 2/3 of his teams, which I think when you're doing the Aquilons, it's probably what you should do, is you just let them set up as much as you can, because you only need to set up 4 at the bottom of the match, or on your turn, for you to start that turning point, which is what I do. So he sets up his Enforcer here in the middle, a Sharpshooter right there over the objective, his Corpseman right next to the Enforcer, and then his Ogren over here. And I believe that his Ogren was given the Relentless special rule. At first he was going to give it to his Enforcer, but instead he gave it to the Ogren. He gets that from his Corpseman, which is able to do that at the beginning of a turning, or at the beginning of the whole battle. He's able to do that. Then he sets his Grenadier right there, and this is how we set up. Now, if you notice there at the bottom right, my Marksman is right there. So the Portable Barricade, we actually didn't have an extra barricade for me to use that. So we got this like train track looking thing that was the same size as the Portable Barricade. Didn't quite cover the model, but we were just going to use it as a proxy. Not that it really mattered anyway. Now we roll for real initiative, and he takes it again. So he goes first, which is, fine by me. For the strategy phase, he uses his reposition from his scouting ploy to move up his sniper. I get a free reposition with my trooper that I set down here, and I move it up there if I can get the camera to work correctly. Wow. A nice cinematic shot of it. And then we both do not use any strategy ploys. For his first turning point, he just moves up his Corpseman right there. So being sneaky as I am, I go up top, I believe, with the Melta-Gunner. He then moves his Trench Sweeper up. I then go up top again, I think with the Precursor this time. And then he moves up his Melta-Gun. And then finally, I make a real move. I move up my Trooper right here, nice and safe. He moves up his Grenadier behind this area, and then this is where I'm like, I then move up my Melta Bomber here. He does have Gaze of the Gods, that's why he has that token on him. He just brings up his Enforcer right here, I guess to get that middle action going. Finally, I decide, yeah, I'm going to put my sentry here, and I'm going to shoot that Grenadier down there. It is a crack grenade hitting on 4s, so, you know, a little bit risque. However, I get a pretty decent roll. I still don't want to spend any CP right now, so I keep it as is. He rolls his save dice. They save on 5s, the Blooded do, so I get the easy kill here. So I killed the Grenadier. Now, the reason I did this, right, because he then shoots with his sniper, is I am obscured, so I was like, there's a pretty, you know, decent chance I get everything I want. He has a Blooded token on him, so he automatically gets 1. He then gets a crit, 2 hits. I then inform him, hey, I'm obscured, so the crit turns into a normal, and then he discards 1. And then I roll my save die, right? And I just can't believe it. I already have 1, so I'm like, I just need 1 more. Double 2s. And then I'm like, okay, let me just re-roll it. Another 2. I couldn't believe it. So I'm down to 3 health with him. Yeah, unbelievable. Or 4 health, I think, actually. He then gives his Enforcer an extra APL. I then go up with my Trooper. He was up top. I finally drop him using that 4 inches, and it is within 4 inches, guys. Remember, within is different from wholly within. I'll go over that in the guide. He brings up his Flencer. I go up top. He puts up his Butcher, which that's the Trooper model, but he's using it as a proxy. I'm okay with that. Again, I go up with the Gunfighter, so now everybody up top has gone. I move up with my Tempestus, measure it out, and then I put an extra APL on the Melta Gunner, or Melta Bomber. He then brings up his Chieftain right there in the center for a big turning point 2. I pass with my Sharpshooter over here in his portable cover. He's definitely useful over here. He just brings up his Ogren. There's nobody really here to shoot him, and I believe that we did count that as heavy cover. At the end of the turning point, this is roughly what it looks like. I then, move up the center marker because that's going to be a big area, and I take away this marker for the strategy phase. Big turning point 2 initiative roll. I roll a 5, and he rolls a 1. At the end of the first turning point, no one has scored points. I did get a kill. One of my servo sentry is down to 4 wounds, despite saving on 3s and having 10 wounds and being obscured. Unbelievable. But all that to say, when we go into the next turning point, I play Maintain Momentum, which gives me severe so long as I'm shooting a ready operative, and then I above, which allows me to choose a model on the opposing team. Anyone within 3 inches then gets detected, which means I can re-roll against a shooting attack from them or retaliate twice with 1 dice so I can parry them out during combat, which is really, really nice. He plays Bitter Demise and Malevolent Grit, which allows him to re-roll defense dice if he's on my side of the board, or he has Blooded tokens, and Bitter Demise is anybody within 2 inches. He rolls a d3 on a 3+. He does damage equal to that roll. Pretty crazy ability, actually. I don't know if I get the rule specifically. I'm going to have the rule up here so that if I don't get it right in the audio, at least on screen, what you're saying will be correct. This does bring you down to 1 CP. Pretty scary, but hopefully it was worth it. Since he lost initiative, and he didn't use any initiative last turning point, he's actually up to 4 CP, which is just really good for him. So going into the turning point, of course, I detect these 2 models right here. I believe it was the Enforcer, and then the Corpsman was in it. Also the Chieftain, but that didn't matter because I'm going to bring up my Melta Bomber, right? And then I'm going to shoot him with my bomb. I shoot and get a fairly easy kill. I don't even think he has to roll for it. That's just how good it is. And then I do a high IQ move in which I actually throw a stun grenade with the Grenadier, right? Is why I gave him that 3rd APL. I throw a stun grenade here at the Enforcer, who has that extra APL, and the Corpseman, right, is on a 3-up save. I throw, and I miss with the Enforcer. Okay, fine, great. So that's all okay. And then I miss with the Corpseman. I do then take 1 hit or 1 wound from the Bitter Demise play, which is okay. Then he goes with his Enforcer. He uses his ability to give somebody a 1 free action, which he uses on the Sharpshooter to shoot my Servo Sentry. Once again, don't even need to roll defense die. He just dies. Very unfortunate. Wanted to do one more thing with him. Couldn't get it done, though. He then charges my Melta Bomber in an absolutely insane display. He rolls 3s. He hits on 4s, so he only gets 1 hit. I obviously have a parry. We do a little back and forth here, but eventually he just does 1 damage. I parry him out. Then I drop my Trooper right next to his Sharpshooter, and I take a shot. Get a really nice roll, a crit, 2 hits against a guy who saves on 5s. I mean, I feel pretty confident about this. Of course, my opponent, he rolls. He does roll a crit here, which makes him live, which is fine. He's just wounded. I then plant beacons, and I secure the objective because he's now 1 APL less because he's injured. And I get 2 VP from coordinates because I'm doing it on my opponent's territory, and I get 1 from my tac op. He then shoots right back at me with his Sharpshooter, but I manage to just barely live with 2. And then this guy, I drop my Gunfighter here, and I do kind of risky, a little bit risky. I do salvo, so I shoot 2 people. First at his plasma gun. I automatically turn one of those, because the plasma gun hasn't gone yet, into a critical. He, saving on 5s, rolls no saves and doesn't change it. So the plasma gunner dies. I then shoot the corpsman, and I get a pretty good roll. And by pretty good, I mean 2 crits and a hit. That's fine. Don't need to change anything. Don't have the CP to change anything. Then he rolls 1 save, bagging me the kill. Now, we did retroactively go back and change something that happened before with the Bitter Demise rule, where we actually found out that he should have killed the Melta Bomber here with the damage that he did from what would have been the Bitter Demise and the Enforcer. So, seeing as how that's the case, he still would have charged him. He just would have killed him. Nothing really changed too much there in his interactions. So, going back and changing it wasn't that big a deal. Just remember, it is a casual game. It's not a tournament game. In a tournament, probably shouldn't do this at all. However, in this game, I think it's totally fine to just go back and say, hey, this is actually how the rule worked. This guy should have been dead. I think that's okay. So yeah, after that was corrected, again, I don't think it changed anything crazy from the game. However, the Trench Sweeper, and I didn't film this, so I'm just going to tell you, the Trench Sweeper moved up from his previous position. He gets onto the middle objective marker. He caps it, gives him the coordinates, or puts in the coordinates, which again will be counted at the end of the match. But for right now, it is at 1 VP for him. And I believe at this point, I'm about to get 3. Because I activate my Sergeant, I move up to my home objective marker. I cap it. I then give that 3rd APL to the Trooper right next to me. And that's the end of his turn, using that 3 APL to my full advantage. So then he actually goes this time. He charges my Trooper. He doesn't even have to fight him because he does D3 damage upon a charge. So my Trooper automatically dies. I then go with this Trooper and I shoot this guy because I just want to do a little bit of damage. And fortunately or unfortunately, I only get 2 hits through, and he gets no saves, which I'm like, oh, big for me, right? No, actually, not big for me, because he has a 5-up feel no pain. So the 6 damage that just went through, he rolls it, and 3 of it goes away, so he's just down to 7 health. He then charges with this flencer over here, and we did measure it out, don't worry. I measured it out. I made sure to measure it out because I was like arguing against it, but he did get it. So he goes with his flencer, right? And we roll for attack, whatever. Here it is. It's a decent back and forth. So we go back and forth. He hits me. I parry 1. He hits me again. I then kill him, right? However, he has bitter demise. So we roll for that, and I get killed with him. Big rip. All right, so I move up my marksman over here, right? And I take a shot at him. I get a nice roll. And it's a normal shot, no stationary profile, right? Crit, 2 hits. Nice. However, he rolls a crit and a hit, or in a normal save, so it's fine. He then moves up with his commsman, gives his melted gunner an extra APL. I then drop with the precursor, thinking I could kill him. By the way, with the sharpshooter, I'm pretty sure he only took 1 damage, which was unbelievable. I drop, I get a crit, a hit, and 2 1s, so I can't do more damage than this. If I don't kill him here, and I don't have any CP to re-roll, so if I don't kill him here, with this 5-up feel no pain, it's kind of over for me, right? And look, he's got a devastating roll. So, and I know he was detected, and maybe I could have parried out. I couldn't parry out. I would just die. So, what I do, right, is I drop that. I go for it. I'm like, let's see if I get the kill. He's got 6 health left. I'm like, come on. How many 5-up feel no pains can he get? Right? He's already done, and he gets like 2. So he lives with 2 health. Unfortunate, and then he just kills my precursor, so I die on my activation. So he moves up with his butcher right here. Remember, that's a butcher model. I then just charge up with my trooper with 3 APL, right? And what I do is I, boom, put him right there. He does bitter demise. I just charge him, kill him. He does bitter demise. I then do a shooting attack against his enforcer just to finally get rid of him, right? That's what I'm trying to do. He does have cover, so he gets that cover save. I roll, and I get an okay roll. It's a decent roll. All hits. 1 crit. No way he lives, right? No way. He gets a crit and a hit. He blocks 2. He blocks 2. He does his 5-up feel no pain, and he dies. Finally, he's dead. Then, finally, he's dead. Great. Then, the blooded bring up their melta gunner, right? Using that 3rd APO, a dash, and then a move up. Crazy. Shoots the trooper. I didn't mention it earlier, but the trooper did plant beacon, so he shot and he planted a beacon. So I got my full attack off this turn. He rolls his attack. I didn't even need to roll. I don't know why I did, but I die. That's fine, though. He planted a beacon. He took a shot, did some damage. Everything's fine. I then drop my melta gunner against the Ogren because I didn't have any other valid targets and I needed to drop him. I didn't expect do anything, right? I got 3 normal hits, not even a crit. I was like, oh, what's going on? Who cares? However, he does save on 5s. So, big roll. It's piercing 2. Can I do it? And I do it. 1 shot the Ogren with a Melta. I don't think I've done that before, and that was the end of the turning point. So, at the end of the turning point, I've got 2 on attack op, 3 technically on the main objective. He's got 1 on the main objective, the objective on the over to the side with a trench sweeper. I didn't film it, however, he did go with the trench sweeper and put in the coordinate. So, technically, with all the scores that are known, I've got 2 on attack op, he's got 2 on attack op, 1 on the crit op, I've got 3 on the crit op. That's the end of the turning point. I've got 0 CP. He still has 2 CP. Very unfortunate, but again, we missed immune demise. It was the last activation. We did it right at the beginning of the next turning point, but essentially my trooper got killed once again by that mutant demise, which is just insanity. Initiative is a big thing. We're down to equal models, 5 model each, right? I roll a 1, he rolls a 3. I use my once per turning point equipment to re-roll to a 4. Big things here. He's nervous. He rolls. It's a 3. Doesn't matter. So I immediately go with my marksman, and I shoot at his Melta. I get all hits. I'm feeling so good. He saves on 5s, right? What could possibly go wrong here? Except, actually, it all goes wrong because he rolls a 5. So insane. This guy actually lives. So the Melta lives. He then moves up a little bit so he can get in range with my Melta and shoots me, my Melta, with his Melta. He is injured, so he's hitting on 5s now. Gets nothing but that 5 from the accurate 1 because he's blooded. Or he's got the blooded token on him. I don't know. He did a reroll with it, but it didn't matter. I don't know why, but I don't think I rolled a save. I went down here, though, because of the equipment. So I was unaffected by being injured. And I used my last CP to reroll. And it is enough to kill him. So this guy, boom, get him out of here. We don't like him anymore. The trench sweeper then goes, charges me. He has accurate 1. I don't even have to roll. I die immediately because my melted gunner only had 2 health. Then I go with this trooper over here. And what I do is I shoot that melted. I just want him gone. Please do it. He does, in fact, not die. He rolls good saves. His commsman then charges me, kills me. I believe I did cap that point up there one last time. I then move with my sergeant, I don't kill him. I plant beacons, I push secure, then I charged his trench sweeper. We then go for the last turning point. I won initiative. He tried to roll it. Look at that. Pathetic. Roll it into 3 1s. That last roll we didn't count just because. And then I did a high IQ play. I moved back here, right? I planted beacon over there. And I then shot him. And I also did the secure on it, right? And the way I used my last CP for Tempestus exemplars so I could get free mission actions. So I did a pickup marker action and then I did the free mission action. Just so I could deny him some points. And then I got a kill. Got one last kill because I couldn't do anything else with the marksman. Bringing up my kill op as well. And then he just caps 2 points to bring up his kill his primary op as well. So at the end of it all, when everything is tallied up, the Tempestus Aquilons win 16-14 against a blooded, 6 on primary, 4 on tac op, and then 5 on the kill op. However, with the kill op, 4 with the kill op. However, my primary op was the kill op, which was 2. That's the second time that's happened. I don't think I'm going to do primary for the kill op in the future. I think instead it's probably going to be tac or the crit op if I feel it's something I can do. But that's how it ended. My opponent had 5 on the primary op. I believe he also had 4 on the kill op. He also had 3 from the tac op and 2 because his primary op was also the kill op. So that's how you get up to 14. So if you guys were here for the battle report, that is the conclusion of it. Nothing dramatic. Really good Turning Point 2. And then Turning Point 3 and 4, they were just kind of, we weren't going through the motions, but we were down to like a handful of operatives, and we're just killing each other. Really good match, really fun match. One of those matches that really makes you go like, man, I want to spend another $80 on a kill team box. And another 3 hours playing a game. You just want to roll dice all day. So, for those who are just interested in the battle report, 100%, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. For everybody else who wants to hear my thoughts about the Aquilons, this is, I think, my second game with them. And I do have some things that are kind of coming together now. Number one is all the ploys that they have, half of them are good. Good enough that you're going to want to use them. However, that also makes it so that like your CP, I don't know, with both games that I played, I felt like I was just missing CP. I used it too much, and I kind of didn't get everything that I wanted from them, right? Like, the sudden offensive is such a cool seeming ploy, but the amount of times that it's actually helped me, I don't know. I don't think I can actually say how many times it's helped me. However, same thing with the detected stuff. Like, yes, technically it could. I could see it helping me, but I don't think it ever has. And then with the dropping everybody down as like the Melta death squad right from above. I tried, as you could see, I tried having the Melta bomber down on the ground, or the grenadier, down on the ground in the beginning of the match, and I think that actually works really well. I think that's how I'm going to play him now, from now on, is being able to just give him that third APL at the end of the second turning point, or at the end of the first turning point, and then going into the second turning point, he has 3 APL without you having to give him anything. I think is actually super, super good, because you're able to do something very interesting, to me at least, where you can go up, move up, throw your bomb, and then throw a smoke grenade, or throw a stun grenade, or if, you could be like the ultimate, dude, right? You throw a stun grenade, you throw a smoke grenade for yourself or for your friends, and then you throw your melted bomb if you just so happen to get lucky enough to be able to do all that, right? He's just the ultimate support unit when it comes to grenades, and even if you want, to throw a crack grenade, I guess, that too. But I think you guys should consider doing that, having him on the ground, especially since his thing is heavy reposition only. You really just want to use that Melta bomb, so dashing him up, or not dashing him up, repositioning him up, and then using him, I think it's well worth it. As much as I like the marksman, he just doesn't do enough for me to want to bring him. He doesn't, like, on terrain where he has Vantage, maybe. If I can drop him onto Vantage, keep him there. If I could drop him onto Vantage Turning Point 1 and then keep him up there, okay, I could see it. But on any other board or where Vantage isn't easily accessible, I don't think so. That shot at the end where I'm shooting the Melta bomber, or the Melta gun, right, saving on 5s. I hit all my hits and I don't kill this guy. I still don't kill this guy. No, I don't like it. I'm still gonna try him, right? But real down on the marksman. And also, I didn't bring my plasma, thought to myself, let me give the marksman a try. Let me give the servo sentry more of a try. I do like the servo sentry's survivability, right? Saving on 3s, 10 wounds. I think I rolled real bad against the sniper, right? His sniper. Because I was obscured even and in cover. Like, everything was for me to either take no damage or take very little damage. But clearly that didn't happen. You know, the servo sentry was down to 4 wounds, which is just real bad, even with a reroll. So I was just rolling bad. I still think that he's good to bring, especially if you can bring him onto some sort of vantage point. You know, just having access to that. I think if you can have access to vantage and your enemy has, like, positioned themselves incorrectly, what you could do is you could drop down on vantage, right? If somebody's in light cover and they're grouped up on turning point 1, I think you could shoot with the servo sentry, right? Shoot a frag grenade, get a nice little blast range, and then you have an alpha strike, and then of course you're obscured, you're in cover, advantage. You know, if you want to be even more safe, you could throw up a smoke grenade up there with your grenadier for free, right? Well, not for free, but without having to have brought the utility grenades. So those are preliminary thoughts. The guide is coming out next week, Monday morning, 9:00. So we're gonna start getting in depth with these guys. The main takeaway though is that I'm having a lot of fun. I think these are the new Kazakin, which is to say, with last edition, the Kazakin, they had their problems, but they had one really strong ability, and you could really work around that one ability. Everything about the team was around that one ability, and it was powerful. But because it was so powerful, everything else about the team was a little lackluster, and it helped you be creative with them. And that's how I feel about the Aquilons right now. I feel like I can be creative with them. I can try to work around this. I can try to manipulate it as much as I can. Try to, subvert my opponent's expectations when it comes to that drop insertion ability. By maybe not bringing who they think I'm going to bring up top, right? Like with the Grenadier, bringing him on the bottom. Yeah. Oh, also, you know what? My gunfighter. I love the gunfighter. I'm a little biased. I created that model while I was in not the delivery room, but the room afterwards, where you're just chilling with the baby. That room in the hospital, while we were just waiting there, not doing anything, I had brought my screws, and I glued together and made that gunfighter model with in the room that I met my daughter, basically. Well, I didn't meet her in that room. Whatever. That room has significance, is what I'm saying, and I made that model in that room. That's why that's a different color scheme. It's just because it's for my daughter and stuff. But yeah, I do love that model though. Those 2 shots that I took with the double kill, oh, that's nasty. That was nasty. And I can't wait to try and this is just another thing, the maintain momentum, where you have severe and then you have rending with the gunfighter. So if you get 2 hits with the gunfighter, you get 2 crits, right? Because if you have severe, if you didn't roll any crits, you get a crit. And then with rending, that other normal hit turns into a crit. Or, you get 1 natural crit, and then you get with rending. So no matter what, you get 2 crits if you have severe and rending. Really cool combination. Anyways, that's it for my thoughts. I'll see you guys later. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and watch out for Monday for the start of the new guide. Bye.